DIYLaw, one of the leading Nigerian legal tech startups, today hosted its Maiden Business of Business Fair in Lagos. The event brought together entrepreneurs and students from various parts of the country. In her opening remarks, the co-founder and CEO of DIYLaw, Odunoluwa Longe, shared the purpose of the summit.
Why did we decide to put business of business together? I won't assume everybody knows what DIYLaw is. At DIYLaw, we actually create access to legal services for entrepreneurs. For some reason, we have like a very, very, very crazy passion for entrepreneurs. We love entrepreneurs. Like, our focus is let's just make life easier. So we decided to take one part of the many challenges that entrepreneurs face and decided to make it easier, and that's the legal part. So for us, our goal is to build the one-stop hub for all things legal and to make sure that whatever you need that has to do with your legal framework, your documents, you need a lawyer, you can get it on our website. Then we thought, why not go a step further? We say we love entrepreneurs. Apart from their legal challenges, let's help them build something more. Let's help them build sustainable businesses. You know, I'm sure some of you coming here came in an Uber or a Taxify. We all use international brands that are founded in other countries. But how many brands, how many businesses have grown and expanded out of Nigeria and have become global brands? How many businesses have become regional brands? And that's why we put the business of business together.
It featured panel sessions that looked at various dynamics of building business processes. Highlight of the event was a special session with accomplished business titans, Mr. Benga Oyebode, MFR, Chairman Aluko and Oyebode Legal Firm, and Mrs. Ibuku Awoshika, Chairman, First Bank of Nigeria.
Fell essentially in my sweet spot of how I give back. And no better topic to be talking about than entrepreneurship. So what are the things that I would like to leave with you guys today? So we're starting from the conclusion, and we'll build up from that. I think it's what do successful entrepreneurs do well? They dimension opportunity. They say to themselves, where's the gap in the marketplace, and how do I close that gap? How do I utilize my skills, whether they be God-given skills or skills that you picked up in school? How do I utilize that to close that gap and to essentially have a significant return on investment? Sometimes you miss it because you haven't even dimensioned the opportunity. You walk into it and you invest in it, but you actually you haven't thought it all through. So it's important to know what are those opportunities there and how can I change things. All of this is around strategy, by the way. So you must adopt a strategy that says that I'm in this business to succeed, but I've learned everything I need to know about this business, and that's the way to achieve my objective. One of my sore points with most business people, and particularly lawyers, were very, very poor at numbers. So your average Nigerian lawyer, number skills are abysmal. You know, they couldn't even read a balance sheet. Well, if you can't read a balance sheet, how are you going to do business? You need to know how much money you put in. You need to know how much money you expect to get out. You need to know how much tax you pay on it. You need to know what your costs are. You have to pay attention to all these things. You cannot find a successful, whether illiterate or literate, person who cannot actually sit back and run a calculation of how much money they put in the business and what their returns were. So it's important for all of us that we actually spend time understanding numbers, understanding a balance sheet, understanding accounts, and it doesn't have to be yours. You can start off by just collecting a statement of accounts from listed companies that they circulate all the time. You look at those books and you say to yourself, what is it? What's the bottom line in this thing? How much tax do they, what's profit before tax? What's profit after tax? I think that's something that I see a gap in most of the young people I talk to, and I think it's particularly imperative. Whatever it is that you do, can we please do it well? People tend to sometimes ask me, one of the questions they ask me, they say, how do I get onto the board of a company? Just as an example. And I say to them, can you be the best at what you do? They look at me funny like, you know, there must be a trick to getting onto the board. There is no trick. If you're a successful lawyer, people will take notice. If you're a successful accountant, people will take notice, or a consultant. Whatever it is that you do as your core skill, can we do it to the best of our ability? That's how people notice you. So I think it's important to understand opportunity and timing. And finally, hard work. There's a confluence between hard work and luck. I have a firm belief you make your own luck in life. But usually what I mean by that is to say, if you work hard, usually what you want happens. And you happen, being in the right place at the right time sometimes, is that the guy who wakes up at 8 o'clock, wakes up at 6 o'clock every morning, is at his desk at 8 o'clock, is the guy that somebody walks in and delivers a contract to. So it's, people say, oh, he was just lucky. Well, guess what? His whole life is around making sure he's there at 8 every morning. That's hard work. So you may say he's lucky, but he actually works extremely hard. Harder than the other guys who show up at 8:30 or 9. So I think it's important for us to understand entrepreneurship. I think it's the way to go. In a country where we're not creating as many jobs as we should, being an entrepreneur is the difference between you and the next guy. And I think it's the reason why, I see this room, it's full. It's full of people who want to know about how they can do their own business, how they can set up their own business, what are the tricks to it. And there are lots of tricks, by the way. But it's important for us to understand that, you're going to run through bad patches. Don't expect that it will be smooth sailing, but you will also have your eye on the ball. And that eye on the ball is an eye to succeed at what you do. Be the best you can be.
To be an entrepreneur successfully in any way, you have to be able to see what people cannot see. The status quo is good, it's easy, it's low entry point. Anyone can think about how to function within it. But if you really want to have a long-term play in entrepreneurship or to be relevant in your country or in any space, you must look beyond what is immediate. You must find where the gaps are. You must look at how you can define those opportunities or redefine existing opportunities in a way that you create a whole new market for yourself. Many people see the opportunity, but they can't leave their comfort zone. So they do not want to pay the price to go and chart a new territory. And if you really do want to be successful, and I know when he asked who are the entrepreneurs here, if you're not here, I go out. If you're a lawyer, as long as you're running a practice, you're in business. So if you think I'm a lawyer, you're deceiving yourself. You're only a lawyer when you're discussing legal matters. In running your practice, you're a business person. You're an entrepreneur, and you better understand what it's required to build a successful practice, because that's about learning how to build a successful business. If you ask Mr. Oyibode, he will tell you what would have kept their firm at the top of their game for so long, because that's another thing. It's okay to shine for a season and disappear, but it's about building sustainably for the long term, and that requires being strategically minded, having the ability to take some hard calls and hard decisions along the path, and also recognizing when it's no longer about you. Mr. Aluko has gone to heaven for a while. Mr. Oyibode is here, but Mr. Oyibode is not the managing partner of Aluko and Oyibode as a firm. So at a point, he identified his season of that was not as fast and moved on to greater things, as you could hear from his CV. But the practice continues. He performs his role behind the scene, but they run not necessarily with him, but without him. So that's something else you have to learn. Even as you're building the business, you must learn that it cannot be all about you. Because if you're lawyers and you have a firm and you make all the money and everybody else that works with you gets peanuts because you're God and everybody else is a servant, then you're not going anywhere. And if you're building a business with that kind of mindset as well, you're not going anywhere. If you're going to do something great, you're going to have to learn to value people, to understand that every human being that will serve you in any form is a free will service. It doesn't matter how much you pay a man, except he's willing to give you the talent and the giftings that he has, you can't get much out of him. But your ability to encourage and nurture people and make people feel good enough to give you their best, that's a talent. And it's something you must inculcate if you're going to build business. And it makes all the difference. concerning the people who work for you, concerning people who work with you, concerning the people that you will do business with, who would give you business, or be subcontractors or whatever, or facilitators in any way. Having great human skills is key in anything, and that will make all the difference.
The Business of Business Fair, powered by DIYLaw, is a welcome development as it seeks to address the challenges MSMEs face in Nigeria, particularly in the area of structures and aligning with business processes.